We are on the record. We are videotaping. Fred is here as a reporter taking notes. John and I appreciate candidates coming in because it allows us a much more direct and specific way to judge where you stand, what you do, and whether or not it helps inform whether or not we make an endorsement in your favor. You can give us an opening statement, or we can jump in with questions. We leave that to you to decide how you'd like to start.
Okay. Well, as you know, my name's Paul Walsh. I've been in Braintree for 46 years. Raised my family there, running my own business, Fab Tech Services, for 26 years, I believe. I've always lived in the town. I'm a homeowner. I ran for mayor 4 years ago, unsuccessfully, but we're hoping to change that now. And I went to the Braintree schools. I graduated Blue Hills, and that brings me to today.
In your campaign, the idea of Braintree needing a conservative businessman has come up on a regular basis. What conservative business practices need to be applied to this town that aren't being applied now?
Fiscal. It's the finances, how we're dispersing the finances, and how they're managing their money. Right now, as far as I can tell, because you can't get all of the information you're looking for from town hall, they're very late in posting their finances. The last one I have is 2010. In 2010, we were in the red. We were in the red by $3 million in the fiscal year. We took in $3 million less than what we collected. Spent $3 million less than what we collected. I believe we shouldn't be out there spending willy-nilly, especially in this environment, not just in our town, but in the nation. I mean, so many people are out of work. People in town are losing their homes. They're having to move out of the town. And I think that fiscal part of it is what I want to bring to the town.
What sort of willy-nilly spending are you seeing?
Well, for instance, we built a beautiful park up in the Highlands. It's beautiful. They rushed it through to get it finished by the end of the month. Fred informed me that Saturday they're going to dedicate the park. And then it's going to go under snow until the spring. Why didn't we wait until the spring and build it on straight time and save a third of the cost of building it, because we had to have it done, and we were paying overtime, time and a half, to get these people to work on it. Another one is the $1.2 million turf in the high school. In this environment, was that a prudent thing to do? We bonded that out over time. I think we should have waited until the economy turned around. Had you done that 5 or 6 years ago, we had the finances to do it. Right now, we're on a lean budget. We're losing money from, not losing money, but we're getting less money from the state. We've got to work within our means. We shouldn't be putting things on a credit card, and unfortunately, that's what we're doing. And I don't believe that's the prudent thing to do.
When you said it's been difficult for you to get financial reporting from the town, was there anything specifically, any department or any program revenue as well as spending that you asked for that was not been forthcoming?
Yes, I haven't. So far, I haven't got the 2011 audited budget because it hasn't been audited yet. They're way behind the auditing, in fact, and they're not going to audit it until after the election. I've asked for it, and they're behind the 8 ball. And for 4 years, we've been behind the 8 ball. And the auditor's report for 2010, it said we're in a significant deficit for reporting the finances of the town. And they have been for 4 years, and they haven't solved that problem yet. Posting receipts on the ledger, it's fallen way behind. I had a constituent when I was out knocking on doors, and they spoke to me about a Bell electric light bill. It's a year old, and they contacted them and said, it's our fault, we didn't call you on this, but you owe us $12 for a year ago. Now, how many $12 have we been missing for the last year, 2 years, 3 years? How can we be $3 million in the deficit, yet our budget is balanced? How can we be balanced if we're $24 million in the red on our unfunded pension? Now, Thursday night, when we had our candidates night at Town Hall, I was told that the unfunded pension is going to be paid for by 2040. I don't know if any of us are going to be here in 2040. And what about the people that are retiring from here to 2040 that are going to be added on to the $24 million unfunded that we already owe? So it sounds good that they're going to pay for it by then, but are we? And are we going to be here to know that that's going to happen? And that's where the politician comes into it. I'm not a politician. I speak in facts. The fact is, we're in the red. You can't be balanced if you're in the red. And we have been for years. Our budget in the town, and I have a number here, actually I dropped it. In 2008, wrong one. 2008, it was $92 million was our budget. $92 million. In 2012, it's 111, almost $112 million. The mayor keeps telling us that it's only $92, $96 million. I don't see how that can be. So that's why I'm saying we're in the red. And that's the most important thing we should be addressing with the town of Braintree right now is their finances.
There's a lot of construction going on in Braintree, big projects.
Yes, there is.
Wrapping up and some getting just started. Do you have any issues with the way this is playing out? Would you like to change directions with the what's going on if you were elected mayor?
Specific construction.
Dave and Buster's, let's start with them.
I would not have recommended putting that in for what it's going to bring to the town. We'll get some revenue out of that, but I think we're going to get more headaches than we are revenue out of it. I disagree with that whole premise of putting that in there. We could have come up with a much better use for that facility. Unfortunately, it's in there now and we're going to have to deal with it. But I absolutely think that we're going to get more headaches than we have financial gain on it.
Another issue that's been tied to the development in town is the liquor licenses that have been going to the plaza. There was suggestion last year that maybe the state could extend new licenses to the town to use in specific neighborhoods that would stay in those neighborhoods. Any thoughts on that plan?
Well, they've already given us one more license than we were entitled to because somebody put the wrong number on a form. So we got one extra one that we weren't entitled to. I think we have enough liquor licenses in the town. But yes, I don't think that the plaza is entitled to any more liquor licenses. We're going to have one spot with all the businesses that serve alcohol. And what about all the little mom and pop restaurants and what have you that would like to have some beverages? So if we could do that, and I don't know if we can or not. Again, I've never been up to the State House, so I don't know. But I think anything further that goes out in the town should be in the places outside of the plaza.
When you mentioned not going to the State House, it makes me wonder, what sort of experience do you have that give you the confidence that you could go into this office and be an effective person in a public arena?
I'm a businessman. Dollars and cents are dollars and cents no matter where you are, whether you're at the State House or you run your own business. I'm conservative, I'm fiscally conservative, and actually people tell me I'm cheap, and that's a good thing. I'm not a politician. I think that is a bonus in these days. I won't ever be a politician. If my town hires me to be the mayor, I'm not going to be a politician. I'm going to be a businessman. I'm going to run this town like the $100 million corporation that it is. And that's exactly how it should be run, as a corporation, not as your slush fund to do feel-free things, feel-good things, such as planting trees. We planted 500 new trees in Braintree. good idea, bad timing, and half of them are dying. So it was a waste of capital. Since 2000, we're down 15 police officers on the street, 15. But our residents are up about 5,000. Our crime is out of control, as everyone says. But now they're breaking into homes, local homes, cars, businesses, drugs, out of control. We lost a DARE officer. We should have that back right now. They should be in the elementary schools. You gotta catch these kids when they're young. And I believe that's one of my first things, if I become mayor, I'm gonna implement, is bring back the DARE program.
So you believe DARE, there are enormous number of studies saying DARE has been ineffective over the years, and many communities have suspended it in favor of other things. So you believe, though, that DARE is the way to go?
I believe it's one of the things that we should bring in. Another one is a peer-to-peer situation for the high school kids and all. When you get one of these kids that comes off of drugs and they've been cleaned of drugs for a year or two, bring them in and talk to the kids in high school about it. As opposed to us as adults, kids turn us off. If they're talking to their own peers as to what's going on, that, I think, is a good venue to. So I want to bring many things in. I want to bring the DARE program back. I want to bring in a peer-to-peer group. And I want to, if I become mayor, I want to start another teen center in East Braintree. We've got the one up in the Highlands area, middle part of the town, but I think we need one on East Braintree as well. And we need to address these kids in the 12 to 16-year-old range. They have nothing to do. I stopped the other night. I was driving through the square, and there was probably 25 kids. They weren't doing anything, they weren't bothering anybody, and I just stopped to ask them a question. It was a Saturday night. And I have my signs on my vehicle, they know who I am, and first thing they want to do is run away. And they came over and they were very nice and spoke to me. And I said, what do you kids have to do tonight, Saturday night? And they said, nothing. There's nothing to do. So what happens when they get to be 13, 14, 15 years old? They get in trouble. We got to give them something to do in the town. And we don't address the teens between the time they're driving and the time they are able to go out at night without their parents. We address the kids with daycare and what have you, but nothing in the middle. And we never have. And that's been something that I've wanted to do for a long time. I think if we can do that, and we can bring people in to speak to these kids at their level, and we can get volunteers to come in and work with the kids. You can work with them after school. You can take some of our retirees, and they've got a wealth of knowledge and information. Work with the kids. Work with them on computers, so mathematics, retired teachers, help them with their homework. Students going to college to be teachers come in and do a volunteer basis to help with the kids. Give them something to do. Get them off the streets where they're going to get in trouble or get into alcohol or drugs. And we have a huge drug problem nationwide. But Braintree has a big drug problem that nobody's addressing. All the police can do is react to a situation. We can't go proactive. There's not enough police. They're doing the best they can with what they have. But hey, instead of planting some trees, how about putting another officer on the street? Instead of putting some turf up at the high school, how about putting 2 officers on the street? And that's what I would be doing with the money and the funds that we have available now. 5 years ago, when we were all rolling in the dough with our property taxes and all, that's the time we should have spent the money. Not now. We need to be more fiscally responsible.